In this video, I'm going to be showing you a card color changing technique. It's called the flip over color change because it uses a card switching technique, which is a flip over switch. As you saw in the performance, you're flipping the card over a couple of times. And that is the technique which we are going to be using in order to do this color change. So let's see how you can do it. This trick is very easy to do. It is not that hard at all. And for the color change, all you need to know is the flip switch technique. Now, as you saw in my performance, I was flipping the card before doing the color change. That is because I was switching the card entirely in the action of flipping for the color change to happen. Now, since this card trick uses the technique flip switch and I don't have any detailed tutorial yet on my channel, so I'm just going to show you in brief how you're going to do the flip switch, and later on I'll make a detailed tutorial on it. But right now I'll just show you that, and then I'm going to show you how you're going to use it for the card trick. So first of all, let me just show you what the flip switch looks like. So at this point, as you can see, I have this card, the 3 of spades, and I'm actually going to flip it onto the table just like that, and the card will be changed to a different one, that is the 10 of diamonds, because the 3 of spades is still inside my hand, and that is the flip switch. That is how I switched the card while I was flipping it. And this is done by using the technique of double lift at first. So the first thing you're going to do is a double lift. You're going to take 2 cards as one, and then while you're flipping the card, you're actually flipping the card which was present on the back of the card that you have shown and keeping the actual card that you have shown inside your palm. So right over here, for that, all you're doing is basically, after doing the double lift, when you're holding the card in this position, if you turn the card horizontal to yourself, this should be the top right hand side corner and this should be the top left hand side corner. Now, depending on the hand that you're going to use, you're going to grab one of these corners. Since I'm right-handed, I'm going to go and grab the card right over here on the top right hand side corner. If you are left-handed, just mirror this entire video. So at this point, for this switch, you're actually grabbing right over here with the index finger and the middle finger, and these 2 fingers are overlapping. They are not staying side by side, they are actually overlapping just like that for the color change to happen perfectly, or for the switch to happen perfectly. Now, as I said, since these fingers are holding the card like that, it is not necessary that these fingers have to be straight just like that, because that is not the natural position of a human hand or a human finger. Human fingers usually stay curled in. So you're just going to go and gently just put the middle finger above the index finger and grab the card just like that. So the fingers are not straight at all, they're just a little bit curled in. And then what you're doing is basically you're flipping the card over. And you're doing that by flipping the wrist over, and in that action, in this big motion, all you're doing is you're basically using your middle finger to slide the card inside your palm. Now you can also use the help of this finger and this finger, that is these 2 fingers that are left. You can use the help of these 2 fingers in order to slide the card inside your palm just like that. And when this card comes inside your palm, this will be the actual position of the other card, and you're going to use your index finger to flip the other card out just like that. And that way, this card, which was present on the back of the actual card that you have shown to the spectator, falls right over here, and that way the card switches. So basically, in this entire movement, you do this pulling and this pushing together. So that way you actually switch the card with a different one, that is the card that is present on its back. And that is how you're going to do the switch when you're going to drop it onto the table, and then you're going to get rid of this card. But for the color change, you're actually not going to get rid of this card. You have to square this card with the other card. So basically what you're doing is you're just doing a switch, but instead of dropping the card onto the table, you're actually dropping it onto your hand. And yes, one more thing, if you're doing this with your right hand, if you're doing the flip with your right hand, this is not going to be a good view because from the front the spectator will be able to see that there is a card inside your hand. So you're going to turn your body towards the left side if you're doing it with your right hand, so that the spectators see the hand more than this card, so that they don't know that there is another card, because of course for them the card that you're dropping onto this hand will be the card that they have seen for them. But the card that they have seen will be inside the palm, and you have to get rid of it by squaring it up with this card. So the card has already changed over here, the color change is already done, but at this point, since you're dropping this card onto this hand, you're holding the card with the thumb and these 3 fingers on both the sides. So as of now, what you're going to do is you're actually going to square this card on the back of this card while you're actually going to turn this card over. And in order to do that, all you're going to do is you're going to go, and in the action of turning this card over with this hand, all you're doing is basically you're coming over here and dropping the other card on back of it, and also out jog, so that both this card actually stays squared by the side. And once you drop it, you're not going to move your hand away because your spectators are going to see that there is another card over here. And so for that, all you're doing is basically after dropping the card over here, you're pushing the card backwards with these fingers, and once you're pushing the card backwards, when you hit the bottom card, you're going to get a sensation on these fingers, and you will know that the cards have actually squared. And without moving your fingers, you're actually going to turn the card over by pinching it from this corner or maybe from over here. Now I would say for turning it over, just pinch it from over here, because if you pinch it from over here, you're also going to hide the back of the card, and that way if you use a different colored back, then you are going to do a color change where you're not only just changing the face of the card, because at first of course you're changing the face of the card and the spectators are going to be shocked because they are going to see that the face of the card has changed, but then after that, once you turn the card over, the back will be changed too. So for that reason, if you turn the card over from the corner, after doing the change, this back actually stays hidden, and the first thing that the spectator sees is the face of the card has got changed. So that is the technique. What you're doing is basically, let me just adjust the ISO. So what you're doing is basically you're having these 2 cards together, and then you're doing the flip switch, dropping this card over there, putting this card on the front and then pushing it back, and then once they get squared, you're turning both the cards together as one. And that's how you're actually doing this color changing technique. So that is how you're going to do this trick, and this should be in full speed, that is like that. You have to do the color change in full speed just like that in order to make it look like real and natural. And of course you have to do it swiftly, and since, as you know, this is an angle sensitive move because you're doing the flip and the card will be right over here. So practice this in front of a mirror before performing it in front of an actual spectator, so that you know that you're actually fooling the spectator perfectly without flashing any of the subtleties that's happening behind the cover. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And one more thing before ending this video, I just wanted to mention that I have a course called Inception of Card Magic. It's a good course for beginners in card tricks, and you can get that course free for the first 7 days if you sign up through the first link in the description. And also after the first 7 days is over, if you plan on subscribing to that application for a longer time, you can use the code Making Impossible. Or maybe if you have already signed up through the first link in the description, then you don't have to use the code. It will be applied automatically, and you're going to get 25% off of the actual subscription fee on that platform. So that's all I had to say, and thanks for watching one more time. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you're new here, make sure you subscribe because that's what helps me make more amazing things like this one. And again, thanks for watching. Peace.